Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. It's my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, good people. Hey there. We are back. We are back for another phenomenal episode of the real journey of entrepreneurship. As we all know, entrepreneurship takes paths in different ways, different places, and different entry points. And my next guest is no different to this space. But before I bring on my guest, I know you are, you hear the voice, the woman behind the camera, whatever that means these days. My name is Anita Pierce, and I'm the founder and CEO of 11375. We are intentional about bringing truth to the space of entrepreneurship. We are business consultancy that works with other businesses through collaboration, through podcasting as one entry point, but also through training and facilitation. We pride ourselves on helping others through the government contracting space, but also in business development. And at 11375, we work with a number of organizations to help in supporting that activity. So if you're looking for someone to connect with or to do business collaborations with, please do not hesitate to think of us here at 11375. Now let's transition to the good stuff. Now, in my head, right, I am a published author. In my head, not on document. And a dear friend, old friend, saw this in passing on my timeline that is now an author, an accomplished author. And when I saw that, I said, oh, it's possible, right? Because I know someone that has gone through the process of being an author, self-published author, which looks a lot different, I'm learning, right? But still manages to do this thing in the financial services industry, still manages to be a parent, still manages to try to live whatever dreams that he is living through his own journey. But in this space of being an author, I am so curious because in my head, I am a New York Times bestseller. So watch out. It's in my head though. It's not there yet. But enough for me and my shenanigans. Hey, Craig.
Hey, how
Craig.
are you?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Awesome. And you are a New York Times bestseller as soon as you put that information out there. That's all.
You know
Just got to
what?
sit down and listen. I highly encourage everyone to try this, right? If you got that idea percolating in your head, just sit down, take a little bit of time, you know, and like you said at the outset of your video, you had a pen and paper and a sketch pad and you were writing, right? Like, okay, map this thing out. What's this business going to look like? How am I going to get this business started? What do I need to do? And it's just stay day by day, step by step. And we'll talk about it throughout the conversation today. But how I even started with the first book. The first book, quick, Didn't take me much time because the idea was always there. The second book took me a whole year, right?
Mm.
And it's only 34 pages, but it took me an entire year to write it. So it can be done. It's not easy, but if it's in your head, it can definitely get done. So anyway,
Okay,
my two
okay,
cents.
okay. Let before you start getting deep into this phenomenal book, right? Tell us about on. I guess you have journeyed through the world of financial services. We volunteered together. Like, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you have journeyed from to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Craig Robinson, I've been in the investment business, financial services business for over 23 years, and it's been extremely rewarding. The story I like to tell how I even got interested in finance was growing up in Queens, New York, as what grade was I in? Sixth grade, 12-year-old, taking a trip to the New York Stock Exchange. So we were doing some kind of junior achievement thing, and back in the day, flipping through the Wall Street Journal or whatever, New York Post or whatever or periodical it was, and figuring out, the stock tables and where your stock was. I think I owned Apple, not Apple, but Coca-Cola and McDonald's at the time. And this is when it was still in fractions too. So, you had to figure out how much money did you really make. I don't know if it was a war, if we won or not. I don't, none of that stuff I remember. I just remember it was Coca-Cola and McDonald's. And then we took a trip to the New York Stock Exchange, and this is back in the day before it was all digital. So everybody's on the floor, and there's paper everywhere, and it has the smocks on with the different colors representing the different firms. And it was loud, and it was boisterous, and it was vibrant, and it was a ton of energy, and it was guys, you know,
Mhm.
muscling each other out of the way to get their orders in, to buy and sell orders. And I was like, wait a minute, this is incredible. I think this is a contact sport. This is for me. This is for me. So fast forward, trying to figure out how am I going to get into that world. And there's so many aspects of financial services, banking, particularly in investments, so many different roles. And I've had to meander my way to get to where I'm sitting now, which was not an easy but a very long and worthwhile road. And so now, just taking different roles, learning learning on the job, getting a lot of experience. And I knew I was always passionate about this, just going back to being 12 years old. So now I'm a portfolio manager, managing over $1 billion of investment assets for institutional clients, and really happy with how I'm giving back to folks. 'Cause I work with a lot of not-for-profit institutions, so it's pretty cool in what I do on a day-to-day basis. So that's my life in about a minute.
In a
How I
minute.
got here
That's
in a
a
minute.
minute.
Yeah.
And now, right, you are sticking your toe into this new space of creating additional dreams for yourself. That's how I like to label
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, because if I say it any other way, I will scare everyone away from this process.
Right. Right. It's no, it's true. And how I even got to going down this path and journey of self-publishing was having a book idea. And I've got three little girls, so NOLYNE is the genesis for this. My three little girls, which is Noriel, Lyndon, and Nevada. So NOLYNE makes up the name. It's the first two letters in her name. And I've read hundreds of children's books. Okay, I mean hundreds of children's books every night, reading these children's books to these three little girls. And my youngest, Nevada, wanted to read the same 9 books every single night. And don't ask me to name all 9 of them because it's been a while now. But look, but one was a Mickey Mouse Valentine's Day book. We're in like summer, and I'm reading about Valentine's Day and Mickey Mouse buying a bow tie for Minnie. But anyway, it was like if I got to read the same 9 books, it's got to be something of interest to me, at least to get through it and not read the same stuff over and over, and just seeing how the books are written. And then also seeing that the 100 books that I read, nothing was ever about the stock market or investing or bonds or what have you. I was like, oh, there's a gap here. And I also firmly believe that the earlier you get exposed to financial literacy and you get exposure to investing, time is on your side to allow your money to compound. So I said, oh, I got to write a book. Got to write a real book for me, for my girls, for my community, um, and just put this out in the world so folks can get or kids can get really interested in the stock market. So that's where Bull and Bear Race of the Big Board came about. So I wrote it because I love hip hop, and I thought rhyming was was the way to go because every book that I read to my youngest was a rhyming children's picture book. I wrote Bull and Bear Race of the Big Board, and it took me about an hour to write it. Wasn't long, and I said, okay, it's written. Now what do I do? So I said, okay, I need to create a business around this. So I need to self-publish. Okay, Three Little Girls was my inspiration, so created a self-publishing company. But then I was like, well, I can't draw worth a lick. Who do I know is who do I know that are illustrators? I was like, yeah, I don't know too many illustrators. So get on the internet, start searching, came up with this website called Redsy. And Redsy is essentially, if you're familiar with Fiverr, it's
Mm-hmm.
just the freelance website for self-publishing. So you can find illustrators, ghostwriters, editors, marketing folks, all centered around the, the the self-publishing business. So I was able to interview 5 different illustrators, and then settled on Carolina Buzio, who's actually based in Germany. So my illustrator's in Germany, but I fell in love with her work. She's got all kinds of different work out there. Very passionate about what she does. Very good at it as well. Got the concept. I know it's very different to write a children's book about the stock market, but she got it, and she was able to put my vision onto paper. So that was kind of the next step, was finding an illustrator, creating a business, which is really important because you need to create that infrastructure to support you to get started and publish. Go find an illustrator, get the writing done. Then I needed an editor.
Mm.
I think I'm okay. I think I'm decent at writing and grammar, but yeah, no. When it comes to writing a children's book, it's got to be tight. So I had to get an editor as well, and that editor did a great job of putting it into really good shape. And then I had to find a distributor to get the book out there. So interviewed 5 different distributors, settled on Ingram Spark. They're one of the biggest book distributors or self-publishers out there, and they have all kinds of connections into the retail space. Not the cheapest, but they're definitely the most renowned distributor to get you into retail stores and also online, like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, Target, bookshop.org, and all the other online retailers who sell books. So they have all the connections in there. So it just made it very seamless to get your book out there. I
Mm.
had to stand up a website as well, so you can buy the book on my website, which you pulled up graciously. Thank you, Anita, for that. And that was the process for the first book in a
Okay.
nutshell. That
So
was a lot, I'm sure.
no, because we got to unpack that, because the only reason why I'm saying that is because there are folks like myself who, so that you know, and I'm putting this out to the world, and I said this to my accountability group that I'm going to do it this summer.
Okay.
Whatever that is, which is to get it off my board to write it, right? One is a children's book, the other one is really about this space, a journey of where I am
Mm-hmm.
um, at this point. Um, and I'll go into that on another time frame. But I was curious about, so there sounds like a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
why did you decide on self-publishing versus working with an already established publishing company?
Because like you, Anita, I'm an entrepreneur, and I wanted control of my product
Mm,
and how I put it out to the world and the way I wanted to do it, my way,
mm,
essentially. So I would have, if I went through a publisher, I would have had to wait in line. They would have probably
mm,
wrote my book completely differently. Would have had probably a different illustrator. It just would have been so many different facets, and I would have lost control of the book processing, and I enjoyed the process and the journey of creating this business to put the books out there and being able to give back to the community in a way that I thought was fruitful. Yeah, it's a road less traveled, a little bit more challenging, but I'm still having fun and enjoying the process of doing it on my own. So that's why I did it that way. And if you're like me, where you're just a self starter, a go getter, ambitious, set goals, and just go after and knock it out and tackle it. and just enjoy the entrepreneurial process and journey, then self-publishing is probably the way to go. Not to say that I won't work with the publisher at some point in the future after I stand up more books. Maybe or maybe not. We'll see how it goes. But right now, I'm enjoying the self-publishing entrepreneurial process.
So the other question I have is, what's the overall cost, like in terms for the self-publishing, going that route? Like,
Whew.
what do we have to put aside? If that is the way, if we really want to say, you know what, I want to, tackle this. I want to have this as something where, you know, I do have a real say in it. What is the overall cost? Or how should we budget for something like that?
Yeah. So my biggest expense is my illustrator, right? Yeah, so if you're writing a children's book and if you can't do the illustrations yourself and you want a quality illustration in your book, it's going to be an illustrator, and that can range anywhere from 5 grand to 10 grand, maybe a little bit less, but that's going to pretty much how that's going to work. The distributor part of it, they'll take money, off the production of the book essentially, and then you just get the net profit from that.
Okay.
Um, uh, I hired a marketing person, so that cost, that's probably, 500 to $2,000 per month, right? If you so they're doing if you hire somebody to do soup to nuts, then yeah, it can be on the upper end of that. The editor, just several different types of editors. So for the first book, I only had a line editor, and that was like a couple $100. But then the second book, I got a developmental editor because I just needed to develop the story more.
Okay.
And so they did the line editing and the developmental editing, and that was almost like $1,000 just for that. So I don't know. All in all, we're probably looking almost 10 grand, if not a little bit more than that, just to stand up a children's book. So yeah, I paid some money to do it, but this is all out of my own pocket and passion. I think that it's a small investment to help future generations kind of learn about the markets and grow their wealth. So I'm happy to do
I mean, well, I get reckless. I mean, people spend that on bags, right? So,
it.
you
You're
know,
right.
if you're gonna think about, a real an asset, a long-term asset, do I invest in, this thing for a book, or is it like, I'll crack the jokes all day, but you
Yeah.
got to prioritize, where your financial goals are long term. And that sounds reasonable. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
no,
saying reasonable because I
yeah, no,
already know.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it is pretty reasonable and it's evergreen, right? So
Like,
even when I, leave this earth, excuse me, my children, not my parents, but they still can benefit from this book, and they can use the proceeds to benefit other um communities who are interested in financial literacy, or organizations and not-for-profits. So, the goal is to share a portion of the proceeds to not-for-profits who are interested in the financial literacy space. So yeah, like it's just going to continue to give in many different ways, which I'm really happy and excited about. So not a small investment, but a decent sized investment um, to make the world a better place, and that's just the goal.
and what's so cool about, what you're doing is, so again, we happen to have volunteered on our journey through a
That's
trade
right.
association, that was primarily focusing on financial services, professionals, and education. And I took some of that and, marry that into what I do in business, which is the social impact and going out and doing that type of stuff. And so when I think about, this country and how important the education of just being financially healthy, aware, how did yes, there was nothing there, but, was there something else that you saw that this specific writing this book will bring to the community? Was there something else, or it was just strictly for the fact that you wanted to read an interesting book with your daughters, but also bring this to the world?
No, it what it was for me was reading about, we all hear about the wealth gap,
Mhm.
and that's really important, and it's a focus that I have. But also learning that the earlier you start investing, and allowing your money to just compound. And the statistics are there. I won't share all the statistics, but if the S&P 500 has an annualized 7 to 9% return over the last 100 years or so. You
Mhm.
put your money in that, and it compounds over the years. Like it that's it, right? I mean, so the earlier you can start, or the earlier that parents can get comfortable having conversations with their children about saving money, really earning it, saving it, also investing it, and also giving it. That's the premise of the second book. um, will set them up for future um, financial benefit and wealth, and a wealth that can be passed down from generation to generation. So these two books were just the spark to get the interest, and also help the children learn key concepts within finance. And also allows me to have a conversation with my kids about what I do on a day-to-day basis. It's so funny. I get so many messages from people who have purchased the book for their children. I got a message from a friend of mine last week. Her son had career day at school. He was like, "Mommy, I want to be just like you and be an investment advisor." So she said, "Great, let's go back and read these two books. Let's read Bull and Bear Race at the Big Board, and then Bull and Bear Learn Piggy Bank Golden Rule, just to help you understand what mommy does on a day-to-day basis." So read the book, went to school the next day. He's like 7 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Had on this whole investment advisor outfit, and you know, while most kids want to be superheroes and firemen, policemen, doctors, so on and so forth, he wanted to be an investment advisor at 7 years old. I wanted to be in the stock market at 12 years old. This kid wanted to be like, that right there was brought so much joy to me, um, that he's getting started at such an early age to understand this, and like the fact that she's instilling this in him and he wants to do it, and it's going to carry him for the rest of his life. The other thing that was really important for me around developing these two books is literacy itself, and just helping children learn how to read. So at the time I wrote my first book, my
Mm.
oldest was learning how to read. So that was kind of cool to watch that evolution of her, struggling a little bit to read the book, and then after like 6 months, she, besides memorizing it, she just could read it to me pretty easily. And then getting the videos from a lot of parents, which was a byproduct I didn't even think about, but was also important, was just, you watch a 5, 6 year old read the book with the help of the parents. Like when the first book came out, they're reading it with the parents. Then a year later, they're reading it by themselves back to the
Mm.
parent or the grandparent, and getting that video to watch that. Like, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about that. Those videos that I've gotten and hearing the stories, that was also amazing and so cool to see. And it's just the stories that come in on a weekly basis of how this book has helped someone understand the markets, or help them explain the markets to their kids or their job, or help them learn how to read as well. So cool, right? So cool.
So I'm gonna ask you this, right? So dipping your toe, well, you're not you got your whole foot in it now in the
Yeah, I'm
space.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no turning back now.
No.
Is there any overlap in what you're doing as an entrepreneur versus what you're doing day to day?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
There's definitely overlap. Where we have I work for a bank, so we have a lot of community reinvestment act type of work that we need to be doing. So it's going out and reading to elementary
Mm.
schools about, financial literacy or banking, or what have you. So there's definitely overlap in that regard. We're starting to gear up for financial literacy month in April. So that's huge. Um, and just talking about basic principles of generating wealth and investing in the stock market, and just providing resources and information, because there's just a lot of people that just don't know or focus on the markets, and don't understand the value it is by, investing your money wisely, or budgeting, or saving your money, and what different vehicles to put your money into for it to grow, but grow safely as well. So there's definitely a lot of overlap, and this book allows me to simplify. Writing these books allowed me to simplify, because I can get really in the weeds and get really technical on some of the investment strategies that I implement. So reading these books and writing these books allows me to take a step back, because I heard a great quote from someone recently: "You need to have versatility of communication."
Mhm.
So because everyone you're talking to some people could be very technical, and some people could be at a high level. So writing these books and also thinking about when I write on a daily basis to clients of information that I'm providing to them, several people, different people on the email, some are very technical and some are really high level. So I have to be versatile in what I'm saying to them. And these books have definitely helped me become definitely a better writer. So there's a tremendous amount of overlap in what I'm doing here. You'd be surprised, like Anita, going back to you and thinking about your writing journey, and that I highly encourage. Right, you've got different platforms in which you're getting information about to the community to help them become better business people. You got to write a lot, right? And I
Yes.
hope you're journaling, because
Yes.
if you are journaling, then you have a book.
Okay. I don't think I want everybody to see what's all the way
Well,
in because
yeah, no, I'm not.
I cuss, I pray,
We
I
listen. We
cry.
all do. We all do. I've got about 4 or 5 years of just
Yeah.
journaling, and it's cool to go back and look at it
Mm.
where my mom was at certain points in the year. Is it the same? You kind of dig into yourself a little bit from a psychological standpoint. Where I'm on the journey. Did I evolve? Did I grow? What did I learn from that experience? Right. And I'm not saying you're going to pull everything out of that journal and put it into a book,
Oh,
but there's
Craig,
a
people
lot. You got a
nosy.
lot of facets.
Craig, people are nosy. They want to be all up in your business.
Well, that's a compelling, it's a compelling book to put all your business out there too, right? I'd read it like, oh, Anita, girl, I didn't know you. Ooh. Right. So listen, if I'm sure people can say the same would be like, bro, what was you
Like,
doing? Like, where
yeah,
was your
right,
head at?
right. I gotta
What
hide
was
my
going
book.
on in your life? Yeah. So anyway, if you can journal, you can write. You can
Okay.
write a book.
That is really good advice because I write like I physically write. I used to put it in the phone, but I find that there's a connection, but not really. But when I write pen and paper, it takes me into myself, out of myself, and taking the stuff that's out of my head on a piece of paper. So I have a board and I have, books that that my daughter be drawing and I'm like, and she knows how to read, so that's why I gotta hide my stuff. Yeah, that one time I was like, we can't, we gotta put those up. But we're not ready for those conversations. But anyway, pulling back to our children, right? So do they know that you've read this book? Do they know that you're like famous? Like, are they like, or
Oh
do they,
yeah,
yeah, they don't
they
care.
they
Do they
go to school. Well, the main thing they care about is the logo, right? So they'll open the book, and when the second book came out, they were like, "Where are we?
oh,
Where are we in the book?" And
oh,
so they're all about themselves and in the logo, but they're like, "Yeah, yeah, you're an author, you're cool," but you know the logo is all them. So
yeah.
that's the only thing they care about. And the interesting thing about that logo, and I just thought about this, and I don't talk about it much, is the inspiration I got from that logo. Just having three daughters, and I think at the time, if I'm not mistaken, you're in New York, so you're familiar with the Fearless Girl statue, right? So they kind of
Mhm.
moved it from in front of the bull, Merrill Lynch bull, and moved it in front of the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where the logo came from. So I lined them up and then took a picture and then sent it to the illustrator, and I was like, these, so my Fearless girls. Yeah. So I just want to inspire not only children but girls, and black girls at that, about being fearless and taking on the day, taking on the world, and being the best that they can be.
How about black women? Like, don't
It-
overlook that. Like, we still we still
oh,
need inspiration.
well,
Yeah.
you are the example for them, right? Black women are the example for these little black girls to be fearless. So absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
We see,
Thank you for saying that.
but when we see stuff like this and you hear the deeper meaning behind, I'm like, go ahead, Craig. Like, get into that. But I appreciate that because, you're a father, you're a dad. And it's and when you see that, you know, celebrating. who you are as a father, and vice versa, what they are to you. I think that's pretty amazing. And that should always be like celebrated, contrary
Oh,
to
absolutely.
what society puts out there. That's a beautiful thing, so thank you for sharing that. Now,
Yeah.
comma and are you encouraging them to write?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So my they do a lot of writing at school, so they had some publishing parties at school last week. So I was like, all right, I'm an author, so I definitely got to show up to this and see what my children are writing about. So writing some interesting stuff as they learn how to read and write and understand the world. So it's pretty cool to see that. Um, as they progress as readers and writers, I think I'll try to get them to co-author a book with me
Mm,
at some point in the future. So my goal is to do 5 of these.
mm.
We've got two done. I've got two more coming out this year. The third
Two
book is
more.
yeah, we're rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a lot to say apparently, Anita. So there's a lot for people to learn. I have all this knowledge, so let's just get it out there. The third book is written actually. I looked at it again the other night. It's like so let me tell you a quick
Mm,
writer's process, right?
mm,
So you kind of write it and then you put it down, come back a couple of weeks later, you read it some more, and you make some tweaks. So this is how I write, and then I just put it down. So that's why the last book, Piggy Bank's Golden Rule, took about a year. I got it done, sent it to the development editor, and she tore she tore it apart. And I was just like, oh, okay. And she said, you might want to just write this as prose instead of rhyming. And I was like, no, I'm gonna write it as rhyming because people can pick up on
mm.
rhyming. So I put it down for at least a month actually. It just put me behind schedule and then picked it back up and kind of tweaked it some more and definitely developed the story in which you see now where Bear wants to buy a red bike. And that I mean her feedback was extremely helpful, but it also like punched me in the gut a little bit. Like, okay, you need to revamp your whole process of how you write these books and who you're writing it for, and developing a better story. Implementing the key concepts that kids will gravitate to and understand at their age. So there's a lot of additional, that you said at the outset, research that has to go into writing these books. Not only the market kind of knowledge, but also what's going to resonate from a literacy perspective with children and get them, to enjoy the book and not allow it to be too dense or they get bored. So try to make it quick for all the parents that are reading to their kids at night. So they can knock it out in about 5 to 10 minutes, and then and then put their kids to bed. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
No, you said 5 to 10 minutes. I'm still so. As an FYI, I have a 9-year-old, and we are doing chapter books, and she wants to involve me in the process.
of
And
course.
so I'm like, when are we gonna write about this, Ma? And I'm like, can we go to sleep? Like, I don't.
Right, let's go to bed. Yeah,
No. So yeah, you saying 5 minutes?
yeah,
Okay. Mm-mm.
yeah.
32
Well,
pages.
32 pages and it rhymes, so it flows. So you're just trying to make, and that's the other thing, is trying to get the cadence right,
Mm,
and using words that make sense to fit with a stock or a bond or you know just for it to really flow and make a lot of sense. So it's not, these books are not easy to write at all, because you got to get the concept down, convey the message that you want to convey, allowed to be literate and meet certain financial literacy standards and also literacy standards. So yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not for the faint of heart, but it can be done. Like, because if I can do it, it can definitely be done.
no, if I hear that one more time, I'm like, if I could do you, I'm like I know that one of the things that I teach my young people who I still work with, and also those that I coach. Your mind is your biggest flex. What you see, you can absolutely be. There is a very strong process of consistency that you have to do it. but you got to
Hmm.
see it first. You have to
True.
see it in your mind, and you start to write it down. So, you know, yes, we all can do it. You just have to put some work behind it. So,
Yeah. Nothing. What's the saying? Nothing in life is worth having unless you work hard for it. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, you gotta. You have to. You definitely have to put in the work.
yeah.
And I mean, I guess as I say it, I make it sound really simple and easy, but it's definitely some work and some long nights that goes into this. And I'm also, when people buy from my site, I'm doing the logistics as well. So it's like they're doing all the packaging and you know, I'm signing all the books, and then I got to go to the UPS store and get all the books delivered and sent out to folks, and try to be as equally as timely as Amazon. so, so yeah, it's a process in the whole journey, but I'm having a good time doing it, and just wouldn't have it any other way.
But
Uh, I'm
we're not getting books signed from the other folks. So that makes it a lot sweeter.
Yeah, exactly.
When's the book tour?
Good question. We're actually got some things cooking the end of this month. The end of February, we'll be looking at a couple of local bookstores and doing some story times. We're just solidifying the information to lock that down. We're working with some other Black authors here in the DC area, doing an event on March the 2nd as well, just showcasing our book and doing story time here in Northeast DC. Uh, so that's exciting as well. It's the Black Children's Book Club DMV that's kind of organizing this event. So that's exciting to be working with them to do that. And yeah, getting ready for Financial Literacy Month. That's like the Super Bowl for what I'm doing. So just trying to put good content together, good information. We're gonna have some more information coming out around Black History Month, and just to your point of, if you can see it, you can kind of achieve it. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of the inspirational uh, firms and people throughout Black history, who have inspired me to be in the invested business. So we'll put a lot of that on our Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn pages. So excited to be doing that starting this week. So yeah, we've got a lot of different forms of information getting out there to the people, so they're more informed investors, especially for their children, just to be thinking about how to save money and invest money. Um, so yeah, lots more coming, lots to do. Just trying to squeeze out more time to do it. Might be
Well, the
more 3 a.m. mornings, as
well
I told you
until it's
told you
until it's
earlier.
done. Until it's
Right,
done. That
still is
that
done.
is that
Yeah,
is the way. Yep, that is the way. And that's the way. If you want to be successful in creating the space that you want, you got to be consistent, starting with yourself. And so these are the things that I've learned in my short time in this space, very short time. And
yeah.
so you are leveraging, you are doing a lot of good work. And I'm excited that I had the opportunity to interview you today. I want you to come back at some point in your life. At some point in your life. Um, but I do have just some final thoughts. What type of impact do you want to make, over the next 3 years? What does that look like for you?
It's it's a so cliche, such a cliche saying, but it's such a important term or saying that I live by, and it's just to make the world a better place than I found it. Honestly, I
Mhm.
just I just live by that. That's in my core, that's in my being. So I just want to continue to put good energy, good information out into the world, and just make lives better. One, like, just going back to the example of my friend last week, where her son is 7. He's like, I want to do what you do, mommy. And she took the information that I produced and allowed her to have that conversation with her son, so he has a better understanding of what she does on a day-to-day basis. So that's helping, just helping people in many different facets of life, and just doing a better job of getting my story out there, because I know I've inspired many people through the different activities that I'm involved in, whether it's doing the children's books, or doing a lot of running as well. So running marathons and half marathons. We didn't even touch on that, but that I do that in my spare time as well. So just inspiring folks in that regard as well. So just trying to make the world a better place and just lead by example.
Lead by example. I ran last 5K probably like 6 years ago,
Yeah.
and
Um,
just
it's not easy. It's not easy. I did a half marathon last Sunday, and yeah, that was. I'm done. I'm done for a little while. My body's like, bro, you're not a spring chicken anymore. Yeah, it takes a little bit more. It's a little bit longer to recover. It's a lot more stretching and yoga in my life. Never thought I'd be doing yoga, but yeah, here I am. So
mm-mm.
anyway.
Okay. So as we wrap up, right? You gave me this legacy, beautiful legacy that you're going to be managing and working on continuation. But I'm curious because I usually do these rapid questions just for fun and
Oh yeah.
giggles. Ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. So you're a New York native.
I am.
That I know. What's your favorite borough?
Queens. Like
Boo.
man,
Boo.
man, kind of
Boo.
kind of
I didn't say
kind of
where you
question is
from.
that?
I said favorite. It's a little different. Different.
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Queens,
it doesn't matter.
Queens.
See,
You yeah. If you're
Craig
trying
is
to
back.
fly out of the city, you got to go through Queens, right? Gotta go
Craig
through
is
Queens.
Craig is back. Always been a Queens Brooklyn battle.
Yep.
So, what is your preference these days in terms of footwear, shoes or sneakers?
Oh, sneakers all day. Yeah, sneakers,
Sneakers. Okay,
sneakers.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
I can
All
put on
right.
a pair of J's. I'm happy.
Yeah. All
Real
right. Well,
ones.
that's
Life's
fair.
good.
Yeah. Not me. Mm.
You got the heels on, huh? That's your mo.
No, Crocs. How about that? Crocs.
Oh,
How corny am I?
really?
Crocs and Converse. That's what I have gotten into these days. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have never owned a pair of Crocs.
Yeah, they also not
Uh,
for the faint of heart. But they allow me to get around and
okay, fair
help me
enough.
catch up my person because clearly that's her style. So we had to twin, whatever that means. So yeah. Crocs and
uh,
Converse. Pizza or burgers?
Pizza from New York. Pizza. Come on,
Sit there with attitude. That
pizza.
New York, that New York smack don't go nowhere, no matter
No,
where
it
you
does. It never leaves you. It never leaves you.
does
No,
it.
I'm a pizza fan through and through. We don't have as good pizza here in DC as we do in New York. My favorite pizza joint is like 45 minutes from here, but sometimes I'm like, I just got it's New York style too, so it's like I just gotta
Yeah,
go. It's the water. It's the New York water. You know how it is.
yeah. So, what do you do for mental health and wellness? So, how do you recover?
Run,
Yeah, that part.
run. It just yeah, I hate it when I'm doing it, but when I'm done, I'm so glad I did it. And
Mm.
I feel so much better after running. My head is clear. I put on some music or some podcast or some kind of inspiration. I listen to your podcast while I'm running, and it's good stuff, right? I mean, I'm getting my heart going, getting my energy going, getting my blood flowing, releases those endorphins. Let me tell you something. I have never experienced there's a thing called a runner's high, and I have never experienced that in my life until I ran a marathon. I did the New York City Marathon a couple years ago. I was on that runner's high for like 3 weeks. And
Mm.
I mean, I was just smiling and happy for no reason. I mean, I was sore and I was limping around, but boy, was I happy. I mean, it was, and you feel so accomplished because,
Mm.
I think the stat is like 0.1% of people who have ever run a marathon in the world or something like that. And I'm in that percentage, and I trained for it, knocked it out, and yeah, that's my mental way I kind of exercise my body and my mind is through running.
All right then. Any final tips?
Yeah. For all the entrepreneurs out there, continue to work hard, trust the process, trust all the things that you are doing. Take the time to really organize your business, um, and don't be afraid to take risk. Be it calculated. And buy my book. Books, not even book, it's books. Visit NOLYNE.com. Thank you, Anita, for pulling it up. Bull and Bear Learn Piggy Bank's Golden Rule. Bull and Bear Race at the Big Board. And books number 3 and 4 will be out later this year. I'm
Wow.
excited to get those out to the world. So,
I'm excited too. Um, and so there you have it. I'm so excited to have reconnected with you, Craig.
absolutely. I'm
This
happy
was
to connect with you as
so
well.
amazing. So don't you all forget, check out this website here, Bulls and Bears Learn Piggy Bank's Golden Rules. That's the first book. And then we have Bull and Bear Race at the Big Board. That's the second book. And you heard it here, more to come, books 3 and 4. Wow. I'm
Absolutely.
inspired.
And
I
follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Nolan Publishing. Our Instagram and Facebook. Uh,
is there.
how you get it? Yeah, how you get in touch with us. And
Like,
I'm Craig A. Robinson as well. If you're looking for me to follow me as well. Most of my stuff is just gonna be boring about running and golf, but you can follow me if you want to.
all good and all connected to this specific purpose. Craig, you got to come back. When these
Absolutely.
other books come out, you got to come back. So I'm
Yeah.
going to,
Thanks for having me.
no, thanks for taking time and making space today. I salute you. Come back again. Come back again.
Happy to do it.
All
Thank
right.
you so
All
much.
right.
And keep doing this too. This is great. This is a
Thank
good
you.
way to get entrepreneur, get thoughts about entrepreneurship and many different facets of businesses to allow people to see how it's done and take those ideas and meld them into their own. So keep doing this. You're doing a great job, and this is needed and necessary. So thank you for creating
No,
this platform.
I appreciate the feedback and I appreciate you. We'll see you again soon.
Okay, take care.
Okay. So, family, folks, all of you who have little itty bitties who are interested in financial services, I told you it was going to be good. I told you it was going to be good. We have Bull and Bear Learning Piggy Bank's Golden Rule. Why not? Bull and Bear Race at the Big Board. Please check out the books there. And I have to tell you that it was just so good to see old friends doing good, big, phenomenal things. But yeah, I'm back. So 11375, The Real Journey of the Entrepreneur. We are so excited to have had Craig come on to speak about his journey into to self-publishing. I know many of you are interested in that space like I am. But I also want to share that there are other opportunities to collaborate with other entrepreneurs through the chambers of commerce throughout the states. Also, Craig is in DC, but you have the National USBC that's there as well. Check them out because there's lots of opportunities to be able to connect and gain resources and information through other networks. So if you want to reach us, please don't hesitate. We're at 11375 on the social platforms. Please like, share, and follow us. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and on YouTube. So 11375, don't forget to check us out. And again, I am so excited to just be able to learn more about this process. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode just as much as I did. But again, we'll see you again soon. Take good care. Bye-bye. This week, I have been dealing with the role that I play as a leader, manager, business owner. And something that came up frequently, specifically this week, deals with the fact of how we treat the people that partner or choose to work with our business. And every day there is always a choice to uplift or a choice to bring down. And that choice is daily. Do I minimize the people that are helping to grow my vision, my dream? Or do I provide a space where we are growing and developing together? It's not easy. Every day is a choice. Welcome to 11375. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am your Chief Experience Officer. At 11375, we offer strategic alignment solutions specific to you and your business goals, and also connecting everything with social impact. So if you are looking for a really amazing organization where we help you to focus your strategy and connecting it with social impact, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are on all the social platforms, and you can contact us at 11375.